Hello and welcome to Virtual Flight Diaries. This episode I'm going to take the Just Flight Piper PA-38 Tomahawk from Chester County, Carlson down to Wilmington, Newcastle. Do a little short flight. I'm going to do run through some of the checklists and go over some of the features that are in this thing in a little more depth than my down and dirty just to get going video that I posted. So I just want to do a full flight and just to show you some things. We're just going to do a standard flight, no aerobatics or anything like that. If you want to see this aircraft spin and do stalls, please check out my my other videos. So this is just to show the capabilities of this little plane. So it's a beautiful day out here in the Philadelphia area, and we're gonna get going. So there's different panel configurations, as you can see in my other video. You can switch out to different GPSs. For this flight, I chose the GNS 530. Just it's one that everybody has. It comes with the simulator, so, and it's more appropriate for an aircraft of this size. So, although I do prefer the GTN XI, but who's going to put a $15,000 GPS in a plane that's probably costs just a little more than that? All right, so we're gonna get started here. It comes with the Just Flight EFB that we're all used to. It does come with a small autopilot, which we will go over with our flight. I'm going to do a nav hold and an out hold with it. So we're gonna put all them on because we can remove them in the walk around, and I'm going to show you that in a second. So let's start with the pre-flight checklist. Cockpit preparations. Control wheels, released restraints, ignition is off. Master switch on. Check fuel quantity. We're good for this flight. Although we're a little bit off, I'm going to maybe put some fuel in that other tank just to even us out. Alternator warning light on. Master switch off. Primary flight controls, check. Probably help if I took the parking brake off. Interesting. Doesn't seem like my rudder pedals want to work. Maybe the animation's on. We're going to go from there. Okay. Continuing on. Flaps. Pull down. Pull up. Static drain has been drained. Windows are clean. Baggage is stowed properly. Papers are on board, and the parking brake is set. So let's do our walk around. This is the walk around panel, and it goes out there with you. And it gives you the little checklist of what you need to check. So you can check the ailerons, make sure they run smooth, check the flaps, and then we're going to check the fuel quantity. And like I said, I'm going to add fuel to kind of even things out. And once you're done there, you can move on to the next. This one, we're going to move the tie downs. Going to move the pitot heat cover. We'll check the tire pressure. A little low, but we're still good. I have also full failures and wear and tear on as well. Check the struts. Remove the chocks. We're going to check the stall warning, make sure that works. And then we're going to strain the fuel. And if there was water in the fuel, it'll show you. And then you would just keep draining until you got to 0. Alright, once that checklist is full, we can move on to the next. So we're here, chocks have been removed. Nose tire check. A little wear on the tires, but we're still good. I'm going to check the prop. Prop's in good condition. There's a fuel strain here, so we're going to drain the fuel from that. And we check the gear strut. Once that's done, we'll go to the next one. So here we're going to check the engine oil. We're good. We check the battery. Battery's still good. I'm going to check the tire here. Little wear, but we're still good. Check the strut. Strut's starting to wear out, but we're still well within range. I'm going to do a fuel strain on the tank. And remove the tie down. Once we're green, we go to the next one. Check the ailerons here. Check the flap. Flap feels good. Check the fuel quantity. And that looks good. So we're all green again. We'll go to the next one. Here's the tail. So here we're going to check the antennas. We check the rudder. And the elevator. Green, we'll go on to the next. And that starts, we're back to the beginning, so we can return to the cockpit. Close the doors up. Don't forget this latch up here, or it gets noisy during flight. Note the outside temperature, it's a little warm out today in Philly. What's that, 22, 23 Celsius? Alright, so with the outside inspection done, we'll move on to the before starting engine checklist. Cabin door is closed and latched. Overhead latch is engaged. Seats adjusted and locked. Seat belts are fastened. Circuit breakers are all in. Parking brake is set. Carb heat is off. Fuel selector to the desired tank. All right, so engine start. So over here is a primer. I'm going to prime it. I found it 3 times is a good one. We're going to leave it out for engine start. So mixture full rich. Get the collision light on. Battery on. Fuel pump on. Crack the throttle. Hit the start. Once it catches, we push the primer in and lock it. And then make sure our throttle is around 1,000 to 1,200 for warm up. Alternator can come on. Fuel pump could come off. So while it's warming up, we're just going to get our GPS together. Put our flight plan in. It's a real simple flight plan. KILG. Yep, probably help add that. KILG. Newcastle, Wilmington, Delaware. And there's our flight plan. Got a passenger on board today. You could toggle her on and off or him on and off. This is Jen. Jen's a little stiff today. Don't mind her. So, Jen's gonna have a party, and she read that there's a Total Wine & More down near Wilmington, so we're gonna fly down to Wilmington so she can pick up some booze for her party. So, we're gonna move back down to thing. Everything's in the green. So we're gonna lean for ground operations. Spark plugs will foul on this. Alright, so let's see, continuing on with the checklists. Taxi checklist. Radio's on. Taxi area is clear. We'll check brakes and steering check. Brake check. Ah, there our runners working. I don't know why that didn't do that. Well, no bother now. Steering seems to work good. So we'll taxi out to the run-up area. We'll do a run-up. Yeah, this scenery I have for Chester County. The terrain mapping is way off. Typical of a lot of airports in Microsoft Flight Simulator. But, what are you going to do, right? We have to deal with what we have. Still, visually, this is a great flight simulator. Just wish they would fix these. Maybe Flight Sim 2024 will be better with that. So the autopilot on this plane is very simplified. Although it's nice they added the nav following feature to that autopilot. Just sort of if you wanted to do a little longer flight, you could, alright, parking brake set. Run up, so mixture full rich. I'm going to set brakes. We're into the wind. I'm going to bring the RPMs up to 2,000. Brakes are holding. Drop it back down to 1,800. So, magneto check. Left, see the drop. Right, got a drop. Within range, and no difference of 50 RPMs on both. So, we'll check the oil temperature, oil pressure, everything's in the green. Where is the suction gauge? Oh, there's suction. So between 3 and 5, and we're good. So bring the throttle back down to idle, and then we'll check the idle magnetos. Engine stayed on, so good. All right. Let's get going. Got some booze to pick up. So, flaps down one. Takeoff checklist. Master switch on. Flight instruments are checked. Fuel selector to the proper tank. Mixture is set full rich. Electric fuel pump. Come on. Carb heat off. Engine gauges all up here in the green. So for that oil pressure. And that's probably because we're idling. Static source normal. Seats are adjusted. Seat backs are up. Belts and harnesses are fastened. Got your seatbelt on? Nope, you're sitting on the seatbelt. Well, I can't force you. Flaps are set. Trim tab is set. To neutral. Controls are all free and clear. Doors are closed and latched, and the overhead latch is engaged. So we're ready for takeoff. So landing light can come on. Brakes released. All right, let's go. We're going to do a rolling takeoff here. Pattern's clear. So takeoff's done at full power. Rotate. The rate of climb is 70 knots. Fairly stable. Trim it out. It's a really good stick and rudder plane. Kind of get you back to basics. Not a lot of frills. You can really do some practice work with there's a good view across the nose. You get that sight picture for the turn. Pops up. Bring that nose back down. You don't want to stall. This thing gets squirrely in a stall. Climb out to about 2,500 feet. Now we could stay underneath the Bravo. It does like to get tossed around in the wind. Do feel the turbulence in this thing. And she's not fast. But very controllable. So after takeoff checklist, flaps up, climb power set. Turn. Shallow up that intercept. Don't want to get too low on that speed. bit tossed around, a little windy. Alright, so we're gonna turn on the autopilot. Just to get established here. And then okay. Doesn't seem to want to work. So the autopilot does not like.
TOS system test OK.
Does not like the GNS 530. So you're probably going to want the PMS 50, which is a free version, because I know this one's pretty expensive. Or do VOR to VOR. No, we're going to climb back down under 4,000. Or, I should just say descend back down to 4,000. Or below 4,000. Yeah, so I've never flown it with the GNS 530, so that's why the autopilot kind of went all wonky. And they didn't know that it didn't work. You want to pick one of the other other types of GPSs. Excuse me. Gotta get down under there before we cross that Bravo. Power back up. Wow, it is bumpy out today. Oh, that was good that we found out together that the GNS 530 doesn't work with the autopilot. It's very turbulent out. That warm air. Trim on this thing is very sensitive. You want to play with that trim sensitivity later. So we're only doing about 100 knots, so let's see, 104. So it is not fast at all. But it's a great touring plane. I mean, the visibility is insane. It's a fun little plane to kind of get your skills up and, you know, kick the tires, run around your local area, to go for a little trip. Let's see where we are. Approach and landing. Fuel selector, proper tank, seat backs up, seat belts fastened, electric fuel pump. The fuel pump shut off. Second landing light. So for landing, we're going to put the fuel pump on, mixture set full rich, flaps will be set, and then trim for 70 knots. Full flaps approach speeds will be 62 knots. So you can see that this plane gets tossed a lot. It's light and it doesn't like the wind. You feel all the gusts and turbulence. Alright, so here we are at Wellington. Autopilot off. Stage flaps out. A little high. Grab it a little bit, add altitude down, no cross control action. Really good stick and rudder. There we go.
$500.
Flaps full. Power in. That at approach speed. Bring it right down on the pappies. Tossed around by the wind a little bit. in the flare. Flaps up. Welcome to Wilmington, Newcastle. Yeah, of course. I explained it, but then forgot to do it. Alright, landing light off. Now we're going to taxi, so I have the fuel pump off. Mixture to ground operations. Flaps up. And then I'll taxi to park. Yeah, looks like the FBOs I want are on the other side. Well, we're gonna park here. Is that there's some GA aircraft in here? Park right up next to that TBM. Alright, stopping engine, flaps retracted, electric fuel pump is off. Radios are off, but so let's see, radios are off. Mixture idle cutoff. Throttle full aft. Yep. So we can't seem to turn the radios off. Mixture cutoff. Magnetos off and master switch off. Now parking brake is set. Control wheel secured. Flaps are up. Put our wheel chocks in place. And our tie downs. I remember that roof latch. Alright, so that's a full flight in the Piper PA-38 Tomahawk. Neat little plane. We also learned that the autopilot doesn't work with the GNS 530, so you're gonna have to choose something else with that if you wish to use that. So that feature. So I would suggest getting this. You can practice your basics, do a little touring. Fun little plane. You won't regret the purchase. Easy to fly, feature rich. The walk around thing's pretty cool. Not quite A2A, but it works. It has full failures, full wear and tear. Everything's modeled. The plane normally didn't come with an autopilot, so if you don't want to use that autopilot feature, you would be out of the norm. So thanks for watching, and until next time, clear skies and smooth landings.